everyone, and welcome back to another video. And today we are continuing on with the final quest for the Qitari here in the Greatwood. So here we are with father and son one last time, and the quest is called Glory Be to the Squee. Charcoal Katul is pondering the history of Ronka and his people.
Oh, Claire, on behalf of all the stewards, I thank you for your tireless efforts. You have our sincere gratitude. Indeed, we Qitari must bear the responsibility of having spread the pox to these parts of the forest. Finally, we have brought this painful chapter of our history to a close, and we could not have done so without your invaluable aid. At first, I feared we might damage our relations with the Knights Bless and the V's beyond repair. Instead, we have managed to overcome the plague together, and in so doing, the time-tested bonds between our peoples are stronger than ever before. I travel to Slitherbow and Fen now all the time to share tidings from the forest with my newfound friends. And with the guidance of the Great Serpent, we have reclaimed long-lost knowledge, not just of our own kind, but of Great Ronka itself. In studying the restored stela, I have an occasion to reflect and illuminate on the history of the Empire. It truly was a great civilization, controlling and exerting influence over all of ancient Norvrant. It was a civilization of great enlightenment, welcoming meowed peoples and uniting them under a single banner to live in peace and prosperity. Hume and V's, Qitari and Ronso, living side by side and working towards a common good. The artistic and academic accomplishments of the Empire were many, and yet this, its greatest strength, would also prove its downfall. Or so my theory holds. As the Empire expanded and the years went on, once strong friendships and alliances began to turn sour. Some disagreements flared into all-out conflicts, and Ronka, once akin to a mighty tree that seemed as if it would stand forever, began to splinter from within. I imagine Ronka in its final years, withered and dying. No doubt the Emperor sat on his throne, waiting in vain for the arrival of one who would restore his empire to its former glory, waiting for the ally of Ronka. Compared to the long and storied history of Ronka, my own 3 years seem as insignificant as a drop of water in a great and gushing river. I understand the sentiment, my boy, but it is not so. While the lifespan of any one Qitari may be short, we must never underestimate the value of our shared knowledge and wisdom, accumulated through our many experiences and recorded for the sake of prosperity. Just as our forefathers did their part to shape the course of Ronkan history, so too will the discoveries you have made serve to forge the future of our people and the Greatwood itself. But we must not forget our friends and allies, without whose aid we may not have survived to see this day. Might I trust you to convey our gratitude to them on my behalf, Katul? But of course, Father! Consider our gratitude conveyed. Ha ha ha! Ever learning, I see. Claire, might I trust you to escort my son to Fan now? I would not be able to forgive myself if anything unfortunate happened to him on his day of triumph. Come, Claire. Master Lanal will be overjoyed to see us, I'm sure.
Aw, that's sweet. And he's learning, he really is.
Do send my regards to Master Lanal, would you kindly?
Alright, so what this quest is really all about is just us bidding farewell to the Greatwood and to the Qitari, at least for the time being. I do wonder if we're going to have like that one final quest here. And, okay, there we go.
What would I not give to see the stela with my own eyes? Sadly, at the moment, my duties keep me here. The Qitari excavation was a success, and the sickness that plagued the forest has all but subsided. These are good tidings indeed. So why is it that I cannot help but feel a bit sad? And to think the V's had all but scared my whiskers off when we first met. I must say I'm happy to call them friends today.
It pleases me to hear that all is well at the stopple. We are honored to have done our small part to be of service to our Qitari friends. Never did I think I would live to see this age-old alliance of Ronka rekindled.
For us as well, Master Lanile. From ancient rituals to the remedies that ease our pain in trying times, there is so much wisdom that we learned from you. I am certain that this is only the start of a long and fruitful friendship.
You are wise beyond your years, my young friend, and there is much that you and your people have already taught us. Promise that you will continue to share with us your gleanings from history, that we might put them to use ourselves in protecting and preserving our forest home.
It would be an honor.
All wills that end well, yes? And now, I do believe the time has come that I stop dallying and take to the road.
Are you going somewhere, my good Madam Binia?
I will depart on a journey that has been far too long in the making. I intend to travel beyond the Greatwood reaches in search of these who live scattered across the land, that they might join us here in Ratika to together preserve and pass down the wisdom of Ronka. Fannau has always been my home, and it will not be easy for me to leave it behind. And yet, I will leave with the knowledge that the forest is in good hands. Promise me that you will not let Sunia get into too much trouble, yes? I dare say you are the one who needs looking after, sister. Perhaps I should accompany you. Ha! Rest assured, I am more than capable of taking care of myself. Forgive me if I refrain from stepping into the midst of this sibling squabble. Go in safety, Fina, and know that the Azum blooms will always guide you home. Thank you, Master Lanile. I will return. And with that, I had best be off, before I find another reason to delay my journey any longer. Young Chakul, Claire, promise me that you will be well. Femia. And you as well, Sunia. No matter how far my journey may carry me, know that a part of me is always here with you. And I with you, sister.
Saying goodbye is not easy, is it? But it is time we return to the road again ourselves. We must pay our respects to Valen and Quintford after all.
Very well, we will not keep you any longer. To pass along our respects to our friends in Slitherbow. I was not certain what to think of that Quintford at first, but he has proved a loyal friend.
But of course, should you ever have time, do come visit Father and I. Nothing would make me happier than to be able to show you around the stopple.
No, I think we wanted the second one. Here we go. The Qitari, the knights bless. The empire may have fallen, but it would seem Ronka has as many allies today as ever. I am truly blessed to have been able to live to see this day. It won't be the same with sister away, but she shall return someday. In the meantime, there is no time to sit around feeling lonely. I will have to work harder than ever to protect our forests from those who would cause it harm. Yeah, I was beginning to wonder when she was going to leave. I mean, she was also part of a series of side quests that were kind of long in the making. But basically, she was planning to leave home for a long time, but she wasn't sure if she should. I mean, that used to be a really big no-no. You're not really allowed to leave the forest because you have to stay and protect the ruins of Ronka. That was just how the V's kind of always treated things. So whenever a V's decides to leave, it's pretty much self-banishment. They know that if they leave, they're not allowed to come back. But with the ally of Ronka having finally arrived, and the night sky returned, and basically everyone's getting along. They're starting to open up the borders and maybe start allowing people to come back to at least visit. Maybe not live here. I don't think that they can actually allow that just yet. But yeah, I think that that might be a good place to start off. Okay, so is everyone feeling better here? In addition to the medicine, I offered an invocation to the Great Serpent in the name of each and every one of the afflicted. Judging from the spring in Valen's step, I dare say my prayers were answered. Oh, that's good to hear.
Master Valen, are you certain you should be up and about like this?
Have no worries, my little friend. I'm feeling like my old self again. I hear that all is well again in the stopple, too. That's truly a relief. I shudder to think of what would have happened to all of us here in the Greatwood if you hadn't made your discovery. Truly we owe a debt of gratitude to your ancestors and their wisdom. And truly we all owe a debt to the Great Serpent of Ronka, by whose divine auspices young Chakul was led to the stela on which the cure was inscribed. Yes, praise be to the serpent. Praise be. Do you think you could keep your voice down a bit? Some of us are still recuperating from life-threatening plague, you know. Speaking of which, Chakul, whatever made you think that little fellow was the Great Serpent in the first place? When Quinford first started rambling on to that end, I thought he finally lost the last of his wits.
An excellent question, Valen, and one I've been given some thought to myself. Father always told me tales of how the Ronkins worshipped a great serpent as their guardian and protector, but there were no clear records of its physical appearance. On the night that darkness returned to the skies, the small creature we now know well arrived before us wearing that curious hat. Intrigued, I followed after it. It led me through the ravel, where I saw that the passage to our ancestral homeland was at long last open once more. Jumping for joy, I picked the small creature up and ran home to share the news with Father. With a tear in his eye, he gazed at me deeply and spoke these words. The Great Serpent itself has arrived to guide us home. In that moment, I knew it must be so.
A moment of divine inspiration, no doubt, and not altogether unlike my own. Yes, this is most fascinating indeed. Oh wow, that's what I expect the Great Serpent to look like. In my own case, the Great Serpent has appeared before me in my visions for as long as I can remember. Time and again it shared with me the words of wisdom that I so dutifully recorded as the Gospel of Quinfort. One day it called out to me with a terrifying scree, warning of a great calamity that was to befall the Greatwood if I did not rise to action. It was shortly after that we came upon that tiny creature in the forest, and I recognized it immediately as the incarnation of our divine protector. It is clear now that all was leading up to this day, its first appearance in my visions, our meeting, all has been part of the Great Serpent's grand design to restore peace, harmony, and prosperity to the forest.
Truly, we could never have been able to rediscover our history, nor overcome the spread of the plague were it not for the Serpent's guidance and wisdom.
Clearly your forefathers revered the Great Serpent as well. Why else would they have engraved it atop the final stela, buried deepest and furthest from the Sin Eater's reach? Now this immaculately preserved stela stands before us as incontrovertible proof that this tiny creature is indeed that which we had all instinctively perceived it to be, the manifestation of Ronkan's divine protector, who hath come once more in our time of need to guide our peoples through trying times and into a new generation of peace and prosperity.
Squee!
Last time, after its work was done, the Great Serpent left us, going off to some place where only the gods dared to tread. Actually, it's been following Claire around on her adventures, you know. What nonsense is this, Valen? Clearly the Great Serpent has been watching over us all this time. In any event, it is clear that we owe the Serpent a debt of gratitude. It would be remiss of us not to make a pilgrimage to a site where we might properly pay obstinance.
I would like nothing more than to pay obsolence, Master Quenford, but there is no telling where the serpent has gone. Where might we go that we might hear our words?
Fear not, my young Qitari friend, for I know just the place. The ancestral slumbering place of the Great Serpent, the mighty crystal that has appeared before me time and again in my visions. I speak of none other than the fruit of the Protector, cradled amidst the waters of Lake Tusi Mekta. Valen and I make the trek there night every day to express our gratitude to the Great Serpent for deigning to share its divine guidance with us. Don't look at me like that, Claire. I don't go every time, and when I did, it was just to keep Quenford here out of trouble.
And just how should we go about expressing our gratitude to the Great Serpent?
An astute question, my young friend. If you wish, I would be happy to share with you some choice passages from the Gospel of Quenford that would be most suitable for the occasion. For example, there is chapter 15, verse 5, which begins as follows. O hearken unto the heavenly scree. Never mind Quenford's ramblings. I'm sure the serpent would appreciate it all the more if you thanked it with your own words. And so would the rest of us. Trust me.
Thank you, Valen. I believe I will do just that.
I was afraid Quenford's ramblings would go to Jakul's head, but the boy seemed to have a good head on his shoulders. I think everyone's grateful for that. But of course, how could I forget chapter 9, verse 11, and chapter 2, verse 2? Oh, if only I had the time to share the entire gospel with my Qitari friend. Yeah, sadly, the Qitari probably don't have that much time. I mean, if you had to sit them down and tell every single verse of your Gospels of Quenford, yeah, they probably would die of old age. I'm just a little sad that it's raining now. I was hoping for a nice day. Oh well. I'm not waiting around to find out. So, if you're wondering what this great crystal is, it's actually right over here. So I'm sure we must have seen it many, many times. So, let's see what we got now. Ooh, is the Great Serpent going to appear before us?
Well, here I am, but what words can truly convey my feelings to the Great Serpent?
I don't think that one would work, but yes, you could just say thank you.
Perhaps I should just keep it simple. Yes. Oh, Great Serpents, thank you ever so much for watching over us. You have my most sincerest gratitude. It was by your guidance that my people have reclaimed our history, and that I have made so many new friends and allies. I promise that we will never forget you, and to pass down tales of you for generations and generations to come. What's happening? Do you think the serpent heard my words?
Yeah, if that's not a sign that he heard you, then I don't know what is.
When the crystal glimmered When the crystal glimmered and glowed, it almost felt like it was speaking to me. Do you believe this means the serpent heard my words? At the very least, I take heart in knowing that I have conveyed my thanks to the serpent and to all of our new friends throughout the forest. And with this, I can return to Father in the stable with my head held high.
Alright, let's just head right on back. Though if you really wanted to thank the Great Serpent, I mean, we already have the Great Serpent, like, right next to us, so... not really sure how this whole thing works. But, oh, I can't believe it's almost all over. We're gonna have to say goodbye to our friends. I really can't wait to see what the, like, final quest is going to be like. Because traditionally we kind of have, like, a wrap-up of all the beast tribes kind of all joining together and banding together, so that's going to be cool to see. I really don't know how they're going to do that, though, this time, but hey, I'm looking for surprises.
I cannot thank you enough for accompanying my son throughout the forest. To the end, you have gone above and beyond on our behalf. It is a debt of gratitude the Qitari will not soon forget. In reclaiming our heritage and history, we have also rekindled time-honored bonds of friendship with our fellow residents of Ratika. The Knights Bless, the V's, the Great Serpent, and not least of all, Claire, ally of Ranka. All have played a part in events that will be etched in the annals of history. Yes, the steward shall see to it that these events are handed down to our children, and our children's children, and so on until long after we ourselves are gone. You have our word. In the meantime, we shall continue our excavation of the tunnels beneath the stopple. I've even considered commissioning the creation of a new stela, on which all we have gleaned in recent days may be recorded for posterity. Father and I may not have seen eye to eye in our impertinations of history, but I can assure you that we are of a like mind regarding the future we would forge for our people. Oh, how you have grown, Chakul. It nay brings a tear to my eye. Thank you for everything, Claire. I know that there are many places you must journey, but know that you will always have a home here in the stopple. Is that not so, O Great Serpent?
Aww. That's so sweet, as it always is. Oh boy. I like that idea, though. I really like the idea of commissioning a second stopple. I like the idea of commissioning another stela. Alright, you will receive an experience bonus boost for completion of the Qitari Beast Tribe quest. Yay! Not really sure if there's a point to that, but hey. To think that Shakul would once cower every time he stepped from my shadow. Now he commands respect from all in the stopple. Brings a tear to my eye, it does. When the crystal glowed, it felt as if the Great Serpent was speaking directly to me. I've never felt such joy. Okay. Oh, look! We have the serpent, like, right on top. That's so cute. Alright, so... oh, look at here! Serpent of Ronka to play with. Really? Alright. I'm not one to complain. Tremble, child of man, for a creature of purest divinity wriggleth forth thee in all its behatted glory. Okay, seeking to honor the Great Serpent of Ronka, the stewards recreated the stylish ensemble it was once observed sporting, made an offering of it to one of the divinity's incarnations gracing the stopple. All agree that the outfit brings out the stately serpent's adventurous aspect. Oh boy, I think there's like at least a dozen of these little guys like all over the stopple now, so that's really cute. Alright everyone! Alright everyone, sad as I am to say it, it looks like we have to say goodbye for the time being. I want to thank you all so much for sticking with me to the end here, and I hope that you're all looking forward to the next series of quests that we're going to be doing. So until next time everyone, take care, have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll be seeing you soon. This is Fantasy Girl signing out.